Most Linux systems quietly rely on one single text file to decide what gets mounted, where, and with which options every time the system boots. That file is the fstab file. In this video, you'll learn three things: what the fstab file actually does, the format of each line which determines what, where, and how the file system is mounted, and third, how to safely test and troubleshoot errors so you don't end up with an unbootable system. On Linux systems, the /etc/fstab file is the file system table. It's a configuration file that lists which file systems to mount, where to mount them, and with what options, especially during boot. It typically contains entries for your root file system, your swap space, and any other persistent mounts that you want, such as extra partitions or network shares. Unlike using the mount command by hand, which is temporary, entries in the fstab file gives you persistent mounts that are automatically applied every time the system boots. This is crucial for servers and desktops where you always want the same disks or shares ready without manual steps. Because the system reads the fstab file at boot, mistakes here can prevent the system from mounting critical file systems and in some cases can stop it from booting normally. So the goal is to understand the format, edit it carefully, and always test it before rebooting. In most Linux systems, the fstab file is located at /etc/fstab. You can use whatever text editor to modify it, but I will use vi. Note that it is a system-level file, so you will need to be root to make edits. So sudo vi /etc/fstab. We see a lot of lines starting with the pound or hashtag symbol, which means that those lines are comments and are not executed. For the other lines, there are basically 6 fields separated by spaces or tabs. The first field lists out the file system or device that is essentially the source of your data. The second field is the mount point where you want the file system to be mounted. The third field is the file system type of the source that you want mounted. The fourth field contains the mount options separated by commas. The fifth field is the dump value. And the last and sixth field is the fsck order. So let's go ahead and dive further into each field. The first field is the source of the mount, and it can be a specific partition of a device, like /dev/sdb1 or /dev/nvme0 n1p2. In this example, you can see I have /dev/sdb1 as my source. You can also use a UUID, which is actually better than a device letter because the device letters can change every time you reboot. For example, an external drive like SDB can become SDC when you reboot, but the UUID of that file system will always remain the same. So here you can see for this example, I have UUID equals 69FF-C09B. And the source can also be the network path if you have a NAS, for example. So in this case, I have //192.168.1.234/homeshare. The second field is the mount point, where the mounted file system can be accessed. Remember that a mount point is basically a directory that you can create. To keep things consistent in my system, I usually create mount points in my /mnt folder. But you can have it anywhere, like in your home folder or under /temp or anywhere else. But I recommend putting it in one consistent place so that you know where to find your stuff. The third field is the file system of the source that you are trying to mount. Commonly accepted file systems are the vfat or NTFS from Windows. And then you have the Linux ext4s, XFS, Btrfs file systems. And lastly, there are also the network file systems like CIFS and NFS. The fourth field contains the mount options for that specific file system. And as such, not all options will work for all file systems, so beware of what you are putting in here. So common options are defaults, which basically just does what it says, the defaults. You also have RW and RO for read write and read only. And you can see from my earlier examples for the network file systems of CIFS, I use the VERS option to specify the version number of CIFS to use. And I also specify the credentials file so that the user will not be prompted for the username and password. The fifth field contains the dump value, which was used by the dump backup utility. And that just isn't really being used much anymore. So I've pretty much only used the value of 0 to denote that the system will not do the dump backup. The last field tells the system in which order to run the fsck utility for file system checks during the boot process. The important file systems to check are usually the boot disk. Right? So for those partitions, they will usually be assigned the value of 1 so that they're run first. If you have other system disks like the home folders, those are usually checked after the root. So they usually have the value of 2. And other external disks, which are for data only, are usually not important to check at boot. So they will have the value of 0 so that they're just not checked at boot. The fstab file is the key to mounting all of the devices that the system needs. So if you have any errors in the file, the system may not boot properly. In order to minimize issues, after editing the fstab file, you should test it out by running the mount-a command. This will cause a system to mount the file system which are not currently mounted, so that if there are any typos in the fstab, the mount command will show you the errors. Common errors are special device not found, which is usually a typo of the disk names. So you put /dev sbb instead of sdb, or the wrong network name, etc. Wrong fs type is another common issue because the wrong file system type was specified. You can always check the source file system type by using the block id command. And then you can go ahead and edit the fstab file and put in the appropriate file system. Mount point does not exist is yet another common error. This is usually because the admin forgot to create the mount point or had a typo for the path for the mount point. So in my case here, I have not created the mount point call data drive. So let's go ahead and do that. And after fixing all the typos, if I rerun sudo mount-a, we should not have any more errors. To recap, the fstab is a simple text file that controls how your Linux system mounts file systems at boot. And it uses the 6 fields for your device, your mount point, your type, the options, the dump options, and then the fsck order. If you respect it by backing it up, editing it carefully, and always testing it with the mount-a before reboot, you will gain reliable, repeatable storage mounts instead of surprises. I know that you will enjoy another Linux video like this one here. Leave me a comment below and click on the blue monkey to subscribe. Thanks for your time and happy hunting.